In 1985, diver Henry Coster noticed a narrow opening 37 meters beneath France's Mediterranean coast. He followed it into darkness, entering a flooded passage stretching about 175 meters through solid rock. What waited beyond would change the story completely. Prehistoric paintings hidden inside a chamber that had been cut off from the outside world for thousands of years in darkness. Researchers would later find animals, handprints, and human figures unlike most Ice Age cave art known in Europe. Before we enter this sealed world, tell us where you're watching from and subscribe for more evidence-based historical mysteries like this one. According to the accounts, he was a recreational diver exploring an area he already knew. During one dive, his lamp failed deep inside. He had to retreat through black water with no clear view of the passage. By 1990, the risk was too great to continue alone. Belgian cave divers Bernard and Mark van Espen joined him and extended the guideline through the tunnel. They reached an underground lake with trapped air above it. The line ended there, leaving one question unanswered. What was beyond? In June 1991, Mark returned and reached the first dry chamber. On July 9th, Coster entered with his niece and friends. There, they saw markings on the walls. Coster initially thought the images were modern graffiti. Then the realization came. These markings had survived in isolation. But the discovery soon took a darker turn. In September 1991, 3 divers exploring the same passage became lost and died. Their deaths forced Coster to report the cave to French authorities. The site was referred to archaeological specialists for formal investigation. Archaeologist Jean Corton was brought in because he had the diving ability needed for the task. Cave art specialist Jean Klotz later learned to scuba dive specifically so he could study the site himself. The investigation produced a crucial result. That distinction became central to the investigation. The paintings and engravings were authenticated as genuinely ancient. Some researchers questioned the artwork because the site was located east of the RHNE, where decorated Ice Age caves had not previously been known. Critics also pointed to unusual images, including a bird that looked like a penguin, hand stencils with apparently missing fingers, and artwork whose lower edges seemed close to the modern waterline. Suspicion, however, is not proof. Researchers eventually gathered stronger evidence. Calcite had formed directly over some paintings. Because such mineral layers take time to develop, they provided evidence that the artwork was ancient. Later radiocarbon testing of wood, pollens, charcoal, and other samples strengthened that timeline. According to the source account, dozens of radiocarbon dates placed human activity in the cave across a very long period, with major phases around 27,000 and 19,000 years ago. Later research extending evidence of visits back to roughly 33,000 years ago. Then came another surprise. The walls contained roughly 500 paintings and engravings. Horses appeared alongside seals, birds, an extinct giant deer, a cave lion, and a saiga antelope. Researchers believe the supposed penguins were actually great auks, a large flightless seabird from the North Atlantic. The interpretation is evidence-based, but the meaning remains uncertain. The same applies to the handprints. Many appear to show fingers folded or missing. One theory suggests bent fingers. Another proposes frostbite. A further theory suggests deliberate signaling. However, no verified evidence has confirmed exactly why the artists made these marks. Then there are 2 rare human figures, one combining a human upper body with a seal-like lower body, and another resembling a wounded or killed person. We can study the images, dates, and geology, but we still cannot hear the stories these ancient artists intended to tell. Perhaps that is the deepest mystery of this underwater cave. Not how it survived, but why people entered it, what they believed, and what they wanted future generations to understand. Evidence reveals where they stood, not what they were thinking. The mystery remains beneath the sea. Subscribe for more evidence-based mysteries.